United Smart Broadcasters Collective.
One, two, 1, 2. This is his lordship. What's up? Egyptian goddess in the building. What's up? Yo, California is lit right now. This is the worst fire they've seen in shoot, I don't know, maybe 10 years. And shout out to this app called Citizen. You know, I know Citizen app is Big Brother, but I gotta say, this is not necessarily a bad thing. The Citizen app, if you don't have this app right now, this is straight. This is the bomb. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, let me I'm not looking at the chat right now, but it's Citizen, spelled like it's usually spelled, you know, CITIZEN. The Citizen app is off the hook. It keeps me up to date on crime, corona, wildfires, anything. And it has like a radar thing that goes around and it lets you know what level of danger you might be in no matter where you at, and you can connect with your friends and chat and all that. If something happens by you, if an engine from a jet plane hit the ground and you're near it, you could go live on the Citizen app and let other citizens see the image that you saw and let them share in your experience, especially if they live near you or connected to you. I can't say enough about the Citizen app. Of course, more of your privacy is gone, but it's a small price to pay to know what's going on. This looks very, very Star Trek. The Citizen app looks so Star Trek right now. And right now it's telling me it's one incident near me. But that incident they're speaking of is the coronavirus, and it's saying that it's decreasing right now. And it's also saying that it's some police activity not too far away. And yeah, you know, and if I want to know more about the wildfires, I can look at this same app, Citizen. I want to keep, if I want to know how many people went to the hospital for corona today, or you know, it's all there, and who got their purse snatched or a strong arm robbery nearby, or you know what I'm saying. I can find out a crime is being committed within a few feet from me around the corner, and I can go the opposite way because I was warned on the Citizen app. So yeah, I just got a message from Dice TV. He was happy with his product that he just received, his intro and stuff, and interludes. So yeah, man, it is crazy. I don't now I was actually trying to stall time for my my video clip to upload because you know, I went out into the smoky environment. It looked just uh like Blade Runner. Even my son said it looked like Blade Runner. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow, this looked like when Blade Runner went to Las Vegas in the 2017 version of Blade Runner. So I'm answering a text right now, which is very unprofessional. But one of my clients was happy with their product, and he just wanted to, you know, finish the whole deal. So yeah, you know, people worry about, you know, people always making statements about. This is a sidebar, but people always making statements about how other people think and how other people feel. and they tell you that you don't have the views and the likes I have. Obviously, if I got this many likes and this many views and this many subscribers, I must be doing all right. And if you don't have the same, then you must not be doing as well as me. And I wish the internet was that transparent and that simple. But if you do videos and stuff on YouTube, oh, thank you very much, Egyptian Goddess. If you do shows on YouTube, see, you could tell that to people who just watch the show. But the people who do shows know that there's a website that you can go to really see how much money people making, how well they really doing. You know what I'm saying? And then if you're a troll that happen to also do content, which is rare. I'm one of those rare people that I'm a open troll. I don't hide it. I'm an open troll. But I'm a reformed troll. You see, I said, because when I was trolling someone, that person said, "You don't know how hard it is to do this, and we don't need people like you, messing with us or whatever. You should try. You should." And then their moderator said, "You should have your own channel if you feel so strongly." So I started my own channel. I took their advice, and the thing is, the only reason they said that is because I tried to correct someone in a false equivalency that they were stating. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't a battle of opinions or two different ways of saying the same thing. You were off base. You were incorrect. And I get corrected all the time, left and right. And I go, okay, all right, I got you. And, I just said in the video not too long ago that, people used to use more than one search engine to find information, and now they gotten so lazy that they use just one search engine to find information. And unfortunately, all search engines have collateral bias. See what I'm saying? You're only going to see what they want you to see, no matter who they are. And as much as you complain about the man, white supremacy, and racism and all of that, you're still going to a company that's ran by whites, and this company has a certain level of collateral bias that you can't avoid, and you're going to them for information. And then once you receive, and when you find the information, it's not because it's the correct information. It's so much information available that the search engine didn't create. The search engine just pulled all the information into one place. But it's so much information available that you was able to find the wrong information which you felt was right because it agrees with you. Something is not correct because it agrees with your rhetoric or what you wish to believe. It actually has to be true in order for it to be true. You can find a website and it says, there is such thing as Britons, and that's why we call them Britons, right? But you don't even know what that website is. It could be a sarcastic tabloid, blog website. It could be something written by a non-credible journalist, or it could be somebody being sarcastic, or somebody just as ignorant as maybe yourself. And that's not a bad word. Being ignorant is not, it's a bad thing, but it's not a bad word. But we must not forget about the war in Europe. We must not forget about Wales. People act like Wales don't even exist. You have England, you have Britain, you have Wales. But in this century, most people of England they are referred to as Englishmen. The men, the Englishmen, not the British. Just like Asians. After the 60s and the 70s, nobody called Asians Oriental. It's derogatory. Only an object can be called Oriental, like a rug or a car. I don't know, a piece of art. And I've been hearing the word exotic being thrown around, especially I think 50 Cent might have mentioned something about exotic women. I don't care what you say. And I hope people make a video say, Lordship, I disagree. I think you're full of shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't get offended. But if I make that video, I'm trolling, I'm hating, I'm clout chasing. See, when people think they're smart and know everything, and you come in with a contrary view, you're clout chasing, you get blocked. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You a hater. You wish you was on my level. Well, I must be saying something correct, because look at all my followers, look at all my likes. And but on one hand, they say they're not focused on the views, because when they talk that real shit, nobody shows up. But on the other side, every 5 minutes, they're bragging and begging for people to hit the thumbs up and to stroke their ego. I swear to God, like every 20 minutes, stroke my ego. Here's some information. I'm teaching y'all. I'm showing y'all what's going down. Y'all need to know about this. Okay, now stroke my ego. What's up, Bright Street? And I ain't even got into the show yet. I'm going to actually show you a live camera that's in a fireproof box. There's a live camera in a fireproof box in the forest in California where you can actually see the fire in real time. But the information is on a loop. And once the loop play a couple of times, I'm going to mute the volume and just talk over it. But I'm also going to show you some real footage that I took today out in the smoke. It looked like a scene out of Blade Runner. It looks like I'm in a modern city on Mars. And I've been talking to do my monologue to stall time for the video to upload, and now the video is on Dropbox, so now I'm adding it to the queue. But I'll say that, or after. Hopefully, I didn't get a chance to preset that up, so hopefully I don't get embarrassed when I hit play and everything rolls smoothly, because this is live. But yeah, I'm glad people are in the background, checking it out. I don't have no disdain for anybody on YouTube. I don't dislike the Roach Queen. I don't really dislike the Self Killer. I just wish he would grow up and just be more mature. And then the Virtue Signaler, the other guy, he reminds me of the Sarge in Soldier Story. The Sarge, they got beat up and murdered, and they had the whole murder mystery about the Sarge. He was Geechee. That's what the other guy down in Carolina remind me of. I don't have no issues with him. But like I said, my my modus operandi is, if you block me, it takes me a long time to get over it, because usually it's on some BS. Now, this guy down in Carolina or whatever, who's chasing pedos, he whenever you talk about him, he says, why people be bringing up the past stuff from 20 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. Well, the videos I made about him was probably a year ago or so, and he's still sensitive about that, even after I came on the panel, and even after he made it seem like everything was cool, but recently he just can't stand the sight of me. It's all good, but I don't really mess with people. I'm like the Saturday Night Live of YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like I do comedy, satire. It's not you could tell in my videos it's nothing personal. If it was really personal, I would be doxing people and pulling up all kind of medical records and interviewing former girlfriends and cellmates and shit. It ain't me, So anyway, let's roll this intro and then we'll get into the. Oh no! I don't want to roll the intro. Let's show some of this California wildfire, and then I'll show you my own personal experience because the sun didn't come up in the morning. It was at 8:30 in the morning. It was still dark, well until the afternoon. I had to turn on my lamp in the living room. That's how much smoke is over the whole area. The fires are probably 70 miles away from me. But the smoke is here, and I had no light in the living room. I had to turn on my lights. And then I went outside, and I said, this looks like something out of a movie. So anyway, let me switch over to the wildfires. I'm going to put my mic on mute, and you can see for yourself what's going on here.
This weekend while hiking in the extreme heat. The blistering heat has fueled the Creek Fire, which is tearing through the Sierra National Forest in California's Central Valley. A sheriff described conditions as hellish. At least 224 people were rescued by air. Others made a frightening escape on their own.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Holy.
Just keep going.
Oh my God. Oh.
Just keep going.
Go.
Just keep going. Oh.
Imagine trying to drive through that. The Creek Fire has already burned more than 45,000 acres. States of emergency are in effect in 5 counties now. CNN's Paul Verkerman is on the ground in California.
Laura, Allison, a brutal, horrifying, fire-ravaged weekend throughout California. Let's start by talking about the fire that caused these evacuations from a campground northeast of Fresno. When it came touring through the Mammoth Reservoir campground, people were ringed by fire. It was such a scary moment. They had no way to get out, many of them. A bridge had burned down, that they had to be airlifted out to safety. And we know that some of those people were treated for burns and broken bones. We also know that this fire, called the Creek Fire, caused so much havoc in the area that nearby campgrounds and lakes had to be evacuated. In fact, at one point on this lake called Bass Lake, visibility dropped so low that officials told boaters to drop their miles per hour, their top speed, to 5 miles per hour. It looked like nighttime in midday. Others were able to drive away from some of these horrific fires, and they told tales of just absolutely raging infernos on both sides of them.
A hike with just some hazy air that became, soon ash rain. We were wearing masks, but it was getting, harder to breathe, harder to see. I think if we had stayed just 10 minutes more, we might not have been so lucky.
And many of these fires in California sending up huge pyrocumulus or fire clouds, 8-9 miles into the air. And a factor in all of this, the heat. Oppressive. A record set in Los Angeles County for the highest temperature ever. It's just difficult for firefighters to get at all of these blazes. Fire officials expressing concerns with hot months of October and November and Santa Ana winds ahead in Southern California. There just might not be any rest for these firefighters battling all these blazes. Reporting from Venice, California, I'm Paul Verkerman. Back to you now, Laura, Allison.
121 degrees in LA County on Sunday, the highest ever recorded. CNN has now confirmed a 41-year-old woman died this weekend while hiking in the extreme heat. The blistering heat has fueled the Creek Fire, which is tearing through the Sierra National Forest in California's Central Valley. A sheriff described conditions as hellish. At least 224 people were rescued by air. Others made a frightening escape on their own.
creek fire has already burned more than 45,000 acres. States of emergency are in effect in 5 counties now. CNN's Paul Backerman is on the ground in California.
Laura, Allison, a brutal, horrifying, fire-ravaged weekend throughout California. Let's start by talking about the fire that caused these evacuations from a campground northeast of Fresno. When it came touring through the Mammoth Reservoir campground, people were ringed by fire. It was such a scary moment. They had no way to get out, many of them. A bridge had burned down, that they had to be airlifted out to safety. And we know that some of those people were treated for burns and broken bones. We also know that this fire, called the Creek Fire, caused so much havoc in the area that nearby campgrounds and lakes had to be evacuated. In fact, at one point on this lake called Bass Lake, visibility dropped so low that officials told boaters to drop their miles per hour, their top speed, to 5 miles per hour. It looked like nighttime in midday. Others were able to drive away from some of these horrific fires, and they told tales of just absolutely raging infernos on both sides of them.
A hike with just some hazy air that became, soon ash rain. We were wearing masks, but it was getting, harder to breathe, harder to see. I think if we had stayed just 10 minutes more, we might not have been so lucky.
And many of these fires in California sending huge pyrocumulus or fire clouds 8-9 miles into the air. And a factor in all of this, the heat. Oppressive. A record set in Los Angeles County for the highest temperature ever. It's just difficult for firefighters to get at all of these blazes. Fire officials expressing concerns with hot months of October and November and Santa Ana winds ahead in Southern California. There just might not be any rest for these firefighters battling all these blazes. Reporting from Venice, California, I'm Paul Backerman. Back to you now, Laura, Allison.
121 degrees in LA County on Sunday, the highest ever recorded. CNN has now confirmed a 41-year-old woman died this weekend while hiking in the extreme heat.
The blistering heat has fueled the Creek Fire, which is tearing through the Sierra National Forest in California's Central Valley. A sheriff described conditions as hellish. At least 224 people were rescued by air. Others made a frightening escape on their own.
Just keep going.
Oh.
Just keep going. Just keep going. Okay.
Imagine trying to drive through that. The Creek Fire has already burned more than 45,000 acres. States of emergency are in effect in 5 counties now. CNN's Paul Backerman is on the ground in California.
Laura, Allison, a brutal, horrifying, fire-ravaged weekend throughout California. Let's start by talking about the fire that caused these evacuations from a campground northeast of Fresno. When it came touring through the Mammoth Reservoir campground, people were ringed by fire. It was such a scary moment. They had no way to get out, many of them. A bridge had burned down, that they had to be airlifted out to safety. And we know that some of those people were treated for burns and broken bones. We also know that this fire, called the Creek Fire, caused so much havoc in the area that near...
Shout out to Uncle Black in the building. And shout out... Why am I yelling? I'm not even yelling. I'm just hella close to the mic. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shout out to Uncle Black and Peanut, Nola 504, Chief in the house. And of course, I Am King, Monica, Bright Street, Egyptian Goddess, and anybody else in the background. And so, yeah, that's where I was. Wow, yeah, man, you was right up there. Look at that cloud. I don't know if you can see it because it's kind of tiny, but there was a fire in Napa, and when I went to Santa Clara, the ashes made my sunroof jam. It was so much ash, and all my friends got ash on their car right now, and we ain't even near the fire, and all the smoke is here. And like I said, we didn't have a sunrise this morning. You know what I'm saying? I know most of those trees is. I mean, we're never going to get those trees back. And if it rains, because the trees are gone, and the since the trees are gone and the grass is burnt up, the water is just going to run straight down to the bottom. So that's going to cause mudslides. See, people don't think about that. When the trees burn up and the grass burn up, it leaves the land open for flood and mudslides. So this is a live video feed of a camera inside a fireproof box in the forest. And then the other video footage is on a loop. And when I looked out the window, it looked like a scene out of Blade Runner. So I want you to get an idea of what I saw when I went out into the city. So Blade Runner 2017, when they were in Vegas and Vegas was in ruins, that's what it looks like around here. So let me roll that tape. I filmed this earlier today. So hold on, that's not it. That's not it. But if you're familiar with Mantronics, that was Mantronics beat for you hip hop aficionados. Hopefully this is the right footage. Yeah, there we go. Oh, you in Berkeley, Ree? Oh, you right down the street. This is me earlier today. I am going to try to stay in, but I do got to slide into work, and I do have to go across a bridge. And it's like fog and ash mixed together, like smoke and fog mixed together. But the harsher smoke is above, and it's a buffer. It's hard to describe, but because of the air pressure, the harsher stuff is above and not below. But you see how red it looks? How reddish it looks? You see the sky in a minute. All these buildings have been damaged from the riots. This is how the sky looked today. It's a lot more redder than this. It's just filtered out a little bit. Of course, this is Edward Robertson, my father, singing on this track. I don't know if you know Peanut, but I'm an independent music artist for since 1996. I just keep my identity private, but I've been an independent music artist for a long time. And even my father get on a few tracks, you know. But yeah, this is crazy. I drove into LA while LA was on fire before, and I was standing at Seal Beach, and I was choking on the, on the smoke and the ashes at Seal Beach. But the fire was all the way over by Magic Mountain, you know what I'm saying? But imagine you driving into a burning city instead of leaving and you know what? When we left, it was still on fire. You know, and we have a timeshare in Orange County, and it's crazy. Yeah, I don't play my new stuff on this channel. I play a lot of old, unpublished stuff, so I won't get a copyright strike on my own stuff. A lot of unreleased stuff I play over here.
I'll be with you, baby, till the end of the world. Till the end of the world. Sound like I'm gonna work for you. I'm gonna work for you. I'm gonna work for you. I'm gonna work for you.
Now, earlier I was talking about the Citizen app, and if you don't have it, you need to get it. Yeah, get that Citizen app. Because it lets you know about where the fires are, satellite pictures, but it also lets you know where crime is. If anybody come up missing, if there's a robbery, car accident, it also lets you know the danger areas of the corona, how many people got it, if the numbers are down or going up, is it a good day to be outside or not. This app is off the hook. Even though it's Big Brother, but guess what? Everything else you have is Big Brother. Right on, Peanut. And I'm sure you've been here before, but this is the first time that I, seen you come through and chat, and I appreciate that as well as anybody else. And you know what's funny? The Citizen app is definitely Big Brother, but it gives you a lot of information, and everything else you have is Big Brother. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook app, Google, Google, Google Chrome, the Google search engine, and all those little games you like to play, they're tracking you. So what's another app? I have the Citizen app, and I also have the police scanner on my phone, and I can listen to the police in anywhere in the world. I can listen to the police, fire department, paramedics, anything that our tax dollars pay for, as far as public safe service. And the exact name of that app, you can also record what you hear on the radio broadcast, and of course the police know you're listening, so if they got something really serious that they want to talk about, they will switch to another channel. So this app is called, it looks like it's just called Police Scanner with a plus sign. It's called Scanner Plus. So with the app Scanner Plus and the other app Citizen, you're pretty much unstoppable. I mean, I've seen criminals commit a crime and go live on Citizen, making fun, like while they're being chased, they live on the Citizen app, or they do there's some kind of false police thing, but they don't know that, the app is still tracking you, whether you're a criminal or not. And if you're using the app, you know what I'm saying, you could be traced unless you use radar. And, at first it used to be spooky because I didn't want to. Sometimes you don't want to know what just happened. Like I heard 2 blocks away one day that a couple was robbed at gunpoint, and it was only 2 blocks away. I was like, damn, I wish I didn't know that, because I'm gonna be leaving here later. But where I was at, and as long as I've been in that area, chances are whoever robbed that couple, and then I go walk to the nearest liquor store, I probably bump into that person, and that person speak to me, and I don't even know what he did, and we go part ways because, I'm not the type of targets they looking for. And plus, most of the people who do that stuff, it's a strong possibility I know who they are. We all know what each other do. We just mind our own business sometimes, as long as we ain't the target. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, much respect, man. Much respect. Because, street knowledge is in the building, too. And definitely, because I listen to the police radio in Chicago. I like to know what's going on, especially around holidays. I want to hear, everybody that gets shot or whatever, it don't get reported. And I listen to Detroit, Scanner, and I listen to a couple of cities. What I found in Detroit is that the a lot of their officers are black. Most of the fire department, paramedics, all that is like a lot of black people, but they're so polite and courteous to each other when they talk to each other, when the operator is relaying the message to the officers and back and forth. Now in California, I found that they're very flirtatious, lackadaisical. They try to sound sexy. The female operators try to sound all sexy and stuff. It don't look nothing like their voice, but they be trying though. But yeah, it's a trip. So I'm gonna turn the volume back up on this feed, even though it's a loop. But some of y'all might have missed some of the audio.
The Creek Fire caused so much havoc in the area that nearby campgrounds and lakes had to be evacuated. In fact, at one point on this lake called Bass Lake, visibility dropped so low that officials told boaters to drop their miles per hour, their top speed, to 5 miles per hour. It looked like nighttime in midday. Others were able to drive away from some of these horrific fires, and they told tales of just absolutely raging infernos on both sides of them.
A hike with just some hazy air that became, soon ash rain. We were wearing masks, but it was getting, harder to breathe, harder to see. I think if we had stayed just 10 minutes more, we might not have been so lucky.
And many of these fires in California sending up huge pyrocumulus or fire clouds, 8-9 miles into the air. And a factor in all of this, the heat, oppressive. A record set in Los Angeles County for the highest temperature ever. It's just difficult for firefighters to get at all of these blazes. Fire officials expressing concerns with hot months of October and November and Santa Ana winds ahead in Southern California. There just might not be any rest for these firefighters battling all these blazes. Reporting from Venice, California, I'm Paul Verkaman. Back to you.
Now look, I'm looking at my Citizen app right now. 20 minutes ago, a car crashed into a pole near my house. I mean, it's not funny, but because there was a person with the app nearby, they're either live or they film the incident. And I'm looking at it right now. That's a trip. And it says a citizen user shows a vehicle against a pole and the police are on the scene. Yeah, I can see that. And then people can leave messages too, like comments, which is crazy too. And it said police and EMS are responding to the reports of the car crash. Now, citizen only reports the incident if it makes it to the police scanner. If it doesn't, if they don't talk about it on the scanner, then the police citizen doesn't talk about it. So whether you got this police scanner app or not, but the cool thing is once you see it on Citizens, you can continue to monitor situation by listening to the scanners because you'll have more up to date thing. It's weird now. I mean, it could be a hobby. Like this is crazy. You get a notification on a bunch of police cars drive. Let's say 8-10 police cars drive past you. Boom, go to the police scanner and see what the hell is going on. Because you might be walking the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is crazy. Street knowledge. This is a live feed from a camera inside of a fireproof box. It's probably on a loop, and then the news is on a loop too. I'll let it rock one more time. All right.
Others were able to drive away from some of these horrific fires, and they told tales of just absolutely raging infernos on both sides of them.
A hike with just some hazy air that became, soon ash rain. We were wearing masks, but it was getting, harder to breathe, harder to see. I think if we had stayed just 10 minutes more, we might not have been so lucky.
And many of these fires in California sending up huge pyrocumulus or fire clouds 8-9 miles into the air. And a factor in all of this, the heat. Oppressive. A record set in Los Angeles County for the highest temperature ever. It's just difficult for firefighters to get at all of these blazes. Fire officials expressing concerns with hot months of October and November and Santa Ana winds ahead in Southern California.
All right. We're going to take a sidebar away from this. We're going to take a break from this. I want you, I know a lot of interesting music artists, right? Personally, I know one guy named Katindu who made his own instrument out of a phonograph and a harp, and he combined the phonograph and a harp into one instrument, and he got the MacArthur Genius Award to make his instrument better, which is it's second to the Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Peace Prize, you get like $1 million, I think, with the MacArthur Genius Award, which anybody can get. Like I would say, Nobel Peace Prize is out of my reach. But if I worked hard and if I had a mentor, there's a possibility that I could probably get it. Not really me, but maybe. But it's reachable for the average person if they can do something. And it's not limited to artists, doctors and different people, students. Different people have received the MacArthur Genius Award. I don't know if you familiar with it. So like I said, I know a lot of unique African American music artists that push the envelope, that try to invent new instruments and try to stretch the gamut or the boundaries of black art and music. So Katindu could not only he could pluck the strings on the harp, which lay flat, but he also could scratch on the turntable and sample and loop and rock the beat. And he also took an incense holder and fixed it where you put the needle on the incense holder on the turntable and you could pluck the strings on the incense holder. And I know another brother by the name of Onyx Ashante, and that was him soloing on the last song that I played with my father on it. That was him playing the electric saxophone. He was playing what's called the Yamaha Iwi. And I'm going to show you what Onyx Ashante is up to today. We're going to look at a 360 video, and I'll be rotating the video manually because this is a 360 upload. But every now and then I show you this guy, and it's rare that you get to meet someone like like you always hear these stories about John Coltrane, Charlie Parker, Miles Davis, Nina Simone, different people who are, very unique in their artistry, but you wouldn't think that you would meet someone yourself personally, but Onyx is one of those people. He's practically turning himself into a cyborg, and like I said, he's done many recordings with me. He was on the last recording I played a few minutes ago. Feel free to rewind. But yeah, Onyx, he's a little eccentric, but he's very deliberate. And people recognize his talent. He play all over the world. He's been using Bitcoins since 10 years ago. And one time he did a show in Morocco, and he showed up without his instrument. He built his instrument in his hotel room. He went to Morocco 2 weeks early and made his instrument that he was going to perform with in the hotel room. And right now he's in a tent. I don't know if he's in a tent inside of a house or he's in a tent outdoors, but I think he's in a tent inside of a house in Michigan, because in Michigan you can just, do your thing. But yeah, he's working with a 3D printer, which he built himself. Everything is open source. He built his own instrument, which is open source. He gets donations and crowdsourcing and stuff like that. People in different countries have helped him with this instrument, and he's been in 3 TED Talks. If you're familiar with TED Talk, and TED usually only give you about 6 minutes, but when he did TED in Africa, they gave him 32 minutes. Yeah, this dude have played on the island of Ibiza. Rode his bike through several European countries and displayed on the street as well as clubs. He's been in several documentaries, and he's from Mississippi. And he spent time in New York. One time he lost his Yamaha instrument, and somebody donated him another one. His first one came from the company because he was demonstrating the instrument for prospective buyers and stuff like that. So yeah, this is Onyx Ashanti. He's come a long way with his instrument, which has become practically a part of his body. So I'm going to play this, and then we'll get back to the wildfires, and then we'll sign out. All right.
So I don't really know what I need to actually be filming. I got to get into this mode again. I haven't done it in a while. The mics work, but it sounds like some crazy shit. Like even now, I don't really know what I need to be saying, so I'm about to turn this shit off. But I figured I at least want to check the placement of the camera so there's not any like dead spots. I noticed in some of the videos there's like dead spots where it's like you can't see something. I think this is kind of perfect, especially right here next to the Zazzle thing, my mascot and shit. This is the hot end. One of my hot ends died. And not hot end, but the heater element died. So I've got to replace that. Also, this is actually on. But as I've been saying, it's not so much. There is a musical aspect that is core, but it's not all about music. One of the things that I do with this is I've been experimenting. You've heard me talk about the brain stimulation and the electrical stimulation. Well, I've been doing vagus nerve stimulation for about a year. And I'm not even gonna lie, the vast majority of it has been uneventful. Primarily because I have an outcome that I'm looking for. The outcome is vigilance. You see, all I want is that when I put this shit on, that I want to be able to want to do what I'm doing until I turn this off. It doesn't matter if it's 2 hours or 8 hours. right? The electrode is plastic, and the voltages are super low. So I'm playing with, oh, and it also has this effect on, you know, immune system function, all these other things. But I'm playing with low voltages, using about 10 milliamps, continuous. So, and then there's a resistance from the plastic as well. So it's not so much about getting a clinical a clinical result. It's about what is the continuous outcome that I can get over days, weeks, months, years, that kind of thing. You know, I feel like all the experimentation I've been doing up to this point has been putting my body in a more adaptable state. Every time I don't fuck myself up, my body heals back stronger. Or at least that's what I'm telling myself. So I'm not looking for it to be right. I'm looking for the long-term efficacy of the exploration to trend towards optimal. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to have this instant, like, I turn on the electricity. That's, you know, there is an aspect of that that's already there, but it's not so much about trying to get it to be the greatest ever kind of shit. It's not interesting. And those types of things, those are short-lived, especially if they're highly intense. It's like I'm not looking for intensity in that way. I'm looking for something ambient, you know, like a wearable cup of coffee, but a half a cup. If you can imagine, like, wearing a half a cup of coffee all day. You know. It's fucking up. Now, please excuse my scratchy lenses and all of that. I will try to treat the camera as if this is your perspective. So please turn the video around to the back camera. See, this is the front with the big scratch on it. This is the other. So I'm trying to have a way with this camera, especially now that this, you know, these types of things, this type of interaction might be the beginning of the next way that we interact. So I'm trying to explore this as functionally as possible. But I will say this, I mean, I don't go out anyway, hardly, you know, and so being trapped inside with 10 rolls of printer filament, internet access and electricity is not the worst thing in the world. I have a feeling that the things that are going to pop out of this space during this time are about to be some ignorant shit. So you know. Okay, so this is the first test. So let me put this back here. Okay, so this is the first test. So let me shut the camera off because I can't see the footage while I'm shooting it. I have to account for things like the discrepancy of the amount of light coming in from outside to the amount of light on the inside of the tent. Are things being blocked? You know, things like that. So give me, the next video will be longer and more integrative into the process as you see it here. And we'll go from there and just build this up over the next few weeks.
Holy.
Just keep going.
That was Onyx Ashanti.
Just keep going. Okay.
Yeah, he's out there. You know, he's on his own page.
States of emergency are in effect in 5 counties now.
He's in his own parentheses.
Chairman is on the ground in California.
What's up, Evelyn Underwood in the building?
Allison, a brutal,
Good to see you.
fire-ravaged weekend throughout California.
Yeah, this is what's happening on the West Coast. This is what's going down, and
northeast of Fresno.
you know, this is serious. You know, what would you rather deal with? Tornadoes, hurricanes, wildfires. Well, in California, you deal with wildfires and earthquakes. It don't happen. There is wildfire season, but you know, it doesn't. It's really usually ain't this bad, and usually they do control fires in advance to prevent stuff like this happening. But sometimes those get out of hand too, and sometimes it could be as simple as a down power line by PG&E to set this off. But lately we've been having a lot of lightning, so either lightning striking a PG&E tower, or lightning striking the ground, or PG&E tower, you know, power. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? There's many variables.
Hazy air that became,
But
soon ash rain.
But yeah, this is on a
We were
loop.
wearing masks, but it was
I don't
getting,
really see
harder to breathe, harder to see.
anybody else
I think if
live
we had
about this,
stayed just
and
10 minutes
this
more,
chat room is
we
off the
might not
hook.
have been so lucky.
And many of these fires in California sending up huge
And
pyrocumulus or
let's see,
fire clouds.
this is live
8-9
inside the
miles
California
into the
wildfires.
air.
This is
And a factor
the
in all
real
of this,
PAX
the heat,
channel,
oppressive.
48,000
A record set in
subscribers.
Los Angeles County for the highest temperature
So shout out to
ever.
this channel,
It's just
getting this
typical for
information from them.
firefighters to get at all of these blazes. Fire officials expressing concerns with hot months of October and November and Santa Ana winter.
Yeah, I don't know
and
how many people are
California.
watching them live
There
though.
just might not be any rest
But
for these
they do
firefighters.
have a
Valerie
cash app.
Alden
They are.
reporting
Oh,
from Venice,
they don't have
California.
many people
Paul
watching it because it's a
Hammond,
loop.
Laura, Allison.
It's been streaming for 8 hours on a loop. And even though they got 48,000 subscribers, only 11 people is watching. Isn't that interesting?
Died this weekend while hiking in the extreme heat.
The blistering heat has
Yeah.
fueled the Creek Fire, which
And
is
look,
tearing through
this,
the Sierra
for
National
those who
Forest
just
in
walking into the
California's
room,
Central Valley.
this
Sheriff
is a
described
camera
conditions as
inside a
hellish. At least
fireproof
224
box
people were rescued by air.
at the scene
Others
of one of the
died
mini
in
fires
fright.
going on. And the temperature is 720 degrees Fahrenheit. And,
Keep going.
you know, one thing I don't know if you know is fire, if it's big enough, it will create its own weather system, which actually makes the fire stronger.
More than 45,000 acres.
You see what I'm saying?
Emergency are in effect in 5 counties
So
now.
it creates its
CNN's
own
Paul
weather system. It
McCarran
creates its
is
own
on the ground in
typhoon.
California.
Laura Allison, a
Indeed.
brutal, horrifying, fire-ravaged weekend throughout California. Let's start by talking about the fire that caused these evacuations from a
So this is on the loop,
northeast of Fresno.
but like I said, I'm letting it rock every now and then for people who just stepping in.
Mammoth Reservoir Campground. People were ringed by fire. It was such a scary moment. They had no way to get out, many of them. A bridge had burned down that they had to be airlifted out to safety. And we know that some of those people were treated for burns and broken bones. We also know that this fire, called the Creek Fire, caused so much havoc in the area that nearby campgrounds and lakes had to be evacuated. In fact, at one point on this lake called Bass
We haven't
Lake,
talked about silence, and yet in some ways I would think that listening so deeply to all the sounds in the world would make you all that much more sensitive to silence, and maybe even make you value silence more.
We're not comfortable with silence. That is our own silence, because the world is never silent, but our participation in it can be one of a quiet observer. We live in a culture of anticipation. Everything's about the next thing, and we tend to fill our lives. If you look at public spaces like restaurants, they're filled with sound, they're filled with music, not necessarily if you're choosing. It's as if we're trying to drown each other out at every turn. So I think it becomes difficult for us to carve out time without thinking that we're somehow wasting time by simply being, simply sitting. And you don't have to go off to the Antarctic, or you don't have to go to a tropical rainforest. This can happen in your own backyard, basically. I think of Antarctica, again, as probably the quietest place on the surface. On a still day, you cannot hear anything except your own pulse. And that's a pretty powerful experience, because it's rare in our lives that we have that kind of opportunity to find the inner stillness that becomes a way of looking at silence, or understanding or hearing silence.
Well, you know, this fire is not gonna change. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. And I just feel sorry for the people that have died so far. They just found 3 bodies today, and you know, some people refuse to leave their home. You usually find people dead holding a water hose, and I didn't mean that. I didn't say that to be funny. And then imagine when you finally do leave, you got to drive down a road that's hella hot, hella smoky, and fire on the left and the right of you. And if the wind changes and blows too strong, you're trapped. You know what I'm saying? Glenda smiles a lot in the building. Wow. Long time no see. But it's 4 a.m. out here, and I was trying to wrap the show up. But yeah, I got to get up early and fight crime. I'm a superhero on a electric unicycle during the day. They call me Blade Runner. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna sign out here. When I get some more information about the wildfires and stuff, or some more footage, I'll show it to you. Make sure you rewind, Glenda. You'll see me riding around the city where it looks like a scene out of Blade Runner 2017. That was Mrs. Lordship voice. So anyway, I know I sound hella mellow like Michael Franks, the singer. I sound hella mellow right now. That's because it's 4 a.m. So it's time for me to check out, y'all. All right. So I just want to say thanks for coming through. All right, you stay up, stay busy, stay focused. Linda in the building. Shout out to C. Wilson. You know what I'm saying? It's always a pleasure. And we're gonna fade this out. I got that the guy talking with the lady. I recorded that off of NPR a long time ago. I thought it was an interesting conversation. So anyway, peace and hair grease. Oh, you know about Michael Franks? This show may have to go on another 30 minutes. Yeah, Michael Franks is cool. I mean, I don't even know which one is my favorite song, but I do like Rainy Night in Tokyo. I do like Dragonfly Summer. And yeah, I can go on and on. Oh yeah, when Sly called, don't touch that phone. Yeah, that's the jam. If you know when Sly calls, you know your Michael Franks. But you know what? There's a few songs that some people don't know. But I'm sure you know him because he has a song about everywhere. New York, this, that, eggplant, popsicle toes. I mean, who writes a song about eggplant or Vincent Van Gogh's ear? You know, so I'll name the albums that I like. Blue Pacific. Of course, the first one, Sleeping Gypsy. The Art of Tea, and Dragonfly Summer album. I think that's the name of it, Dragonfly Summer. Yeah, I like all the ones with the bands. You know, the first one was the Crusaders that backed them. You know, he had the Joe Sample back him before. And yeah, Passion Fruit album. Yeah, I think that's the one with the. There's one song that had me kind of tripping. I can't think of it though. It's one song. Well, I am connected to Michael Franks. See, I'm telling them myself. I'm connected to his fan page on Facebook. So if you can find me on all those people that's connected, you'll find me on the Michael Franks Facebook group page. All right. Yeah, I'm connected to Michael Franks group page on Facebook. Yeah. But yeah, that Passion Fruit. That's Passion Fruit, Sleeping Gypsy, Art of Tea, Blue Pacific, and Dragonfly Summer. Those are the tightest albums. Oh, I haven't heard of him, but is he in the same vein? Because you know Michael Franks is pretty unique. Just like now, we talking about. In case people don't know, we talking about a white singer, okay, whose voice is this super mellow, but you could tell that Sade got her style from Michael Franks, and you could tell that Diana Krall, another white singer, got her style from Michael Franks, just like Lisa Stanfield got her style from Barry White. It's obvious. Oh, he's a flutist. Okay, I could dig that. I'm a former saxophonist, and I play a little bass on my tracks, so I respect the organic live instruments. You know what I'm saying? He's a flautist. Okay, I'm gonna have to check him out. You know, when I used to live in L.A., Najee used to play at Venice Beach and sell his music out of a briefcase on cassette. Yeah, I'm gonna have to screenshot this chat so I can remember his name. Well, right on. This has been real, and Lordship is about to sign out. We got to cut the television set off. Isn't that hella cool? It took me all day to design that, to make that like a functional TV. Because OBS Studio reminds me of Flash. It wasn't that much difference between OBS Studio and Flash. I used to use Flash Professional 8. I wasn't that good. I just knew enough to do what I needed to do. Oh, of course, David Sanborn, of course. Yeah, I'm familiar with him. We can go down a long list. We can go down a long list. But, you know, maybe one day I'll play some music straight off the vinyl, including my own, because I've made over 14 vinyl recordings myself. And I got a pretty cool vinyl collection that goes back to 1939. I even have Sam Cooke on the 45. A Change Is Coming. I even have Natalie Cole on the 45, singing jazz, you know, scatting her butt off. So yeah, one day we'll just have a Lordship vinyl moments. All right. So peace and hair grease.
Lock it down, cause we doing it live. Plus we got more in deck than the Enterprise. And if I lay right there in between your thighs, you will see another episode of Deep Space Nine. Text message me on the video screen. Get that miss on the wireless. Never had to buy it in tweet. PRV, we can fold up, we move. The two back seats, just pass me your Dixie cup. I got the chemistry to fix it up. Come on, slide with us on tour or the studio. Right.
United Smart Broadcasters Collective.